Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Got a question here asked on lockergnome.net by Pretty Pink, wondering how do you handle school bullies? Well, let me just say this. One, I know I've recorded videos and have created blog posts on this very subject. And two, I am certainly not some kind of professional advisor or guidance counselor or anything of the sort. But I can tell you that three, when I was going through school, I certainly was bullied. And that did happen, I would say, all the way through college. Of course, it really stopped bothering me at some point in high school. So I'm speaking from experience and nothing else. I can only tell you how I handled school bullies. They've been around for years, right? For as long as we've had humans walking the earth, there have been bullies. And there will continue to be bullies. The bottom line is, don't worry, it doesn't last forever. And even when it does kind of continue throughout your life, if you're going through the whole bullying process, specifically as the victim, then know that you've actually got the upper hand as far as bullies are concerned. So let me relate to you a tale. Something that I'll never forget. I actually had to confront a few bullies. One of the bullies, I made the mistake and actually kind of resorted to punching, believe it or not, and ended up kind of exchanging blows, although I ended up punching him and he never punched back because he was much larger than me, and I think he didn't realize that I kind of had enough. That was in grade school, believe it or not. Then in high school, another individual altogether, a far scarier individual, had just kind of made it known through rather, shall we say, intense stares that he didn't like me and he thought this would frighten me, and I just decided not to pay him any attention or just pretended that he just wasn't doing anything or it wouldn't faze me. Didn't necessarily take the wind out of his sails. He, of course, continued with his... And that's exactly how he'd stare at me. It was almost comical. But, of course, he had his whole entourage, and he wasn't quite known as being the kindest person in general, kind of not in the right crowd. Not to say that I was in the right crowd in high school. Either way, one day in gym class... and it must have been a Wednesday because we had to run laps around the gym as we did on most Wednesdays. He came in with a group of his friends, and we were all running around, and he decided to push me from behind. And I don't know what it was, but something in me kind of snapped, and I realized that if I don't take a stand, he's going to do it again. And so I made a split-second judgment call and turned around. And you gotta understand, I've been about 5'4", 5'5" for, well, pretty much since high school. And this kid, he must have been, at that point, 5'11", easily. And he was built, and I've never been built. So he pushed me from behind, I kind of tripped, and I immediately turned around without even thinking, and he was, of course, walking the other direction. I can laugh about it now, but believe you me, I wasn't laughing about it then. I pushed him back from behind, and I was people were running around the gym, and of course there were teachers around and everything. I went to a good school; it was a great school, but I pushed him behind before I knew it. I think he whipped around, and I think he was more surprised that I stood up to him than anything. And I threw up my fist. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do after that point, to tell you the truth. But I did. I literally threw up my fist, and of course he did as well. And I did not throw any punches because I knew that if I did, that would have probably been very painful, like extremely painful for me. So we stood there, and of course his friends were egging him on, and he didn't do anything. I didn't do anything, and of course at that point the teacher or whoever had broken it up, and we kind of went our separate ways. I continued with the running, and was pretty much scared for my life at that point because I didn't know how it was going to end, and I was sick for the rest of the day. I was sick to my stomach because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I was really frightened. But I can tell you this: from that day forward, he didn't touch me again. Now, I don't know if I can remember. I think he may have kind of glanced in an evil way my direction once or twice, but he never touched me again. If I had to do it again, I don't know if I'd push him from behind, to tell you the truth, because that was about as... I can't say I'm the bravest soul on the planet, but that was about as brave as I think I've ever been to do that. Hearing that sometimes you have to stand up to a bully, and I've done that twice. Like I said, the first time I did it, I think I made some mistakes in the sense that I did resort to some amount of violence by throwing punches. But the second time, I was lucky in the sense that he did not return punches, or far worse, because some people can get killed for standing up for themselves. But the best bet is for you to do what you feel is best for the situation. I mean, if there is a danger of you getting seriously hurt, I mean, like I said, I was in a situation where I really could have been seriously hurt, and I don't know if he would have ever killed me. It certainly felt as dangerous at the time, no doubt about that. But I'm very grateful that I did that, because from that point forward, it was a lot easier to deal with people who couldn't quite deal with me. And I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me, because you know what? This is my life. This is the way I'm going to live it. And I can tell you that attitude has only come about because I've had to stand up to people who didn't like the way I think, don't like my humor, don't like the way I look, don't like the fact that I'm Italian, don't like the fact that I'm an American. You know what, dude? Life's too short. And that is less about a problem with me and more about a problem with them. And, some people just think that they need to take things out on other people, and that may be you. You may be a victim of bullying, or worse yet, you're the bully yourself. And by the way, both males and females can be bullies. Happens on both sides of the gender equation. So don't think this is just a thing for guys. Girls can easily be picked on. And unfortunately, some victims can even turn into bullies themselves. It's just a natural pecking order. You don't want to be the last person on the food chain. Either way, you've got to judge for yourself how you're going to deal with the situation. But know full well that if you're confident in who you are and you love yourself, it doesn't matter what other people say about you. It ain't right. They can tell you that you're the ugliest person on the planet, but if you don't believe that, it doesn't matter what they say. It just doesn't matter. And I tell you, it's far worse in school. You're going to face bullies for the rest of your life. You can deal with them. You can. Anybody can deal with bullies, and I'm sure there have been tomes written on how to deal with a bully. I can only speak from my own experience. Not to say that I still don't get my feelings hurt when I feel like I'm getting bullied, but I'm confident enough in where I stand and in who I am to just dismiss it. And it's kind of like that old commercial, never let them see you sweat. I mean, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to get uncomfortable. They're looking to intimidate you. And the more power you give them, the more power they will wield over you. But as soon as you strip that power from them in whatever way, whether it's having to stand up for yourself in a physical capacity, or just taking the high road in a mental capacity, and realizing that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt me. You've got to come to that conclusion for yourself. But I can wish you luck. I've been there, and I can tell you I've heard stories, horror stories from other people who've been in other situations that have unfortunately led them down paths in life that were very destructive. And so I can only hope the best for you. And, I would ask you that if you're in a situation that you reach out for closer help and potentially, seek, better solutions than what may lead to a very troublesome end. And I say that to you as someone out there who has been bullied in the past and likely will be bullied in the future. I'm on your side. And, there are a lot of people out there who are on your side. And we've been there. And people have certainly been there before me. And there will be people long after you're being bullied who will be bullied. I can only, impart my experience. So again, thank you for watching this video, and I'm sure there are going to be a series of negative comments, maybe some positive comments in the thread. We will find out. My email address, chris@pirillo.com, the place where I've blogged about my experiences, which I've explained now to you semi-fully. chris.pirillo.com, at Chris Pirillo on Twitter, facebook.com/Chris Pirillo, and then, of course, we've got the chat room, typically talking tech, and that's open 24 hours a day. It's part of a live video feed. Even if I'm not there, the community certainly is. You're more than welcome to join us at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.